No.
All right, then we'll just open it up for players.
Hey, Lanny, that outing today, I mean, 4 days rest, the poise you showed in a freshman on a big stage like this, I mean, the biggest point in your career as a collegiate, player. Can you just talk about everything that went into it, your preparation and just your overall approach?
Yeah, I mean, I got all these guys behind my back, and it means something different to them, and that's what motivates me to go out there and do, what I can do at, my greatest potential. Guys like Peyton running through a wall, sacrificing his body, and, everyone wants the ball. And I love being a part of this team and the culture that we have, and to be able to go and represent, my home state. I'm just blessed to have this opportunity, and I'm trying to have fun with it.
Is there any one thing that was working well for you tonight?
I think trusting, Coach Mack, my pitching coach, with the pitch calling and executing it. Yeah.
Sticking to the plan.
Yeah.
Strike one was pretty big all day. Strike one's always big.
Yeah.
Ty, I'll ask you, with Kraft, I mean, the first few innings obviously kept you guys off the scoreboard, but, there was a few moments where you were hitting him hard, making some good contact without much to show for it. That obviously changed in the fourth inning.
Mhm.
Was there something that he was swinging specifically that you talked about as a group in the dugout and say, hey, look, wait for that pitch, that's what we got to attack?
Yeah, well, Mike, our hitting coach, did a really good job with our approach today and like how to attack him. We did our studying on him, and he was coming in a lot with fastballs, and I knew that. And so my first at bat, I had a couple good takes on some curveballs. Ended up getting a cutter, and I just put it through the hole. And then I knew I got the cutter again when I hit one deep to center. So I was sitting there. I'm like, okay, well, he's going to come heater curveball this at bat, and I'm going to get one. And he went up and away twice with a heater, able to foul him off. And then I just seen when that leaked right over in the inside part of the plate, and I, like Coach says, I stayed on the ball, so it was good.
Landon, what kind of confidence give you when you have a guy like JT making plays seemingly every other play?
Yeah, I mean, I have the confidence to go up there and throw any pitch in the arsenal, knowing that my guys behind me are going to get, the play complete.
Landon, you also mentioned your teammates and how everybody's ready to step up. I mean, for Sweeney to come in after Bond's injury right there and then step up to the plate and have a home rally, I mean, you're smiling right now about it. I mean, just talk about that moment. I mean, that was his moment at that time.
Yeah, I mean, Sweeney's our guy. We all love him as a person on and off the field. And, I'm super happy to see him get an opportunity like that on a big stage and make the best of it. Yeah, I mean, that just speaks to kind of the attitude of all of our guys, even who aren't, on the field. They're ready for their time to shine.
Anything else you want to add, Ty?
I mean, when he hit it, I was going to the bathroom, and so I was like in the tunnel, and then that sound that when someone gets it. So I'm walking like up the tunnel, I go to the bathroom, and I hear it, and I go, no way. And I come running out, and I just see him like the ball go over the fence, and he's rounding. And I was just really happy for him because I mean, he's like Landon said, he's a good kid, man. Everybody loves that guy, and to see him come through there, like that was awesome, dude. That was pretty cool.
Anything else for the players? All right, gentlemen, you guys can go back to the locker room.
Cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, as far as setting the tone is concerned, I mean, you can't do much better job than what Landon Mack did. The first day at the Big Ten tournament, you said it yourself, strike one is the most important pitch. And
Yeah.
we just did that time after time.
Yeah, he's only walked like 17 or 18 this year, and he obviously all the pitchers, don't feel awesome at this time of the year when they're on short rest. But then you get into the game, and I don't know, he got into the 85 or 90 pitches, something like that. He was done, at that inning for his safety as well. But he's been great. he handles himself in a very mature fashion for a young player. He's grown up a lot. I think Coach McRae's done a really good job with him, with his arsenal. You know, I mean, the velocity boards are all wrong up there always, but, you know, I mean, he's been 95, 96 with a 90-mile-an-hour cutter. Today he landed some breaking balls early, so then you have to respect that pitch. There was a few changeups mixed in there with the left-handers as well, but he got a lot of weak contact on the cutter. And today, I mean, we don't hit that many home runs. You know, I've had teams that hit a lot of home runs, but we're not built like that. And today we benefited from 3 really good swings. And I thought Ty hit another one, his second at bat. And I mean, Matt Chattel came about as close as you can get in the last inning, and Brendan Hyde hit one to the wall in the first inning also. So, you know, we had some good contact there. But yeah, Landon, he's been very consistent. He got whacked a couple times this year, but then he learned from it, and you know, he's been great. And you know, the guy he handed the ball to is another freshman, and the guy that we'll give the ball to tomorrow is another freshman, and then the guy that comes in after him is another freshman, and the guy that'll come in after him is another freshman. So our young pitchers have done a nice job, and we only have 2 returning position players that played on the field for us last year, and that's Trevor Cohen, who's one of the best players that I've ever had, and Ty Doucette. And those guys have played with a smile on their face, played loose, and been very consistent, and they want to win. So they've brought a lot of these young guys along with them without being vocal leaders. And, you know, like Sweeney gets grinded out in practice every day, just like Trevor did as a freshman. And, you know, he stuck with it, and he was ready to go today when his number got called, and, you know, big hit. I think that was a big point in the game right there. I mean, Peyton is one of our best players. He's a great defender, and he's a really good hitter for us, and he's the fastest guy on our team. And to have him go out in that fashion was very demoralizing. And then we kept playing, and, you know, that's what good teams do. Somebody else, you know, in a short term steps up and gets the job done. So I'm happy with that.
What was Peyton's injury, and do you have any idea of the timeline?
I don't know yet because we just coached the game, you know, and then we'll get some more clarity from, you know, I know he was evaluated quickly by a doctor, sore. You know, not sure if he'll be in tomorrow or not. We don't know that yet. If he can go, he'll be in the lineup, and if he can't, you know, obviously then we'll go in a different direction. I thought our catcher received very well today, and did an excellent job. Like, you know, that doesn't show up in the box score, but that kid's gotten so much better, and catching balls the right way and making them look good is very important. He's a good blocker, and I thought the tempo of the game was good. Like, it, you know, we played in a good tempo. JT Thompson, you know, little scrapper from Texas, and he covered the whole infield. You know, he made plays all over the field, and those were base hits. So we didn't, you know, we're fielding at a high level. We're fielding 980, which is high, but to win at the end, you have to you can't just make average plays. You got to make above average plays. So it was nice to see that he was able to do that today. And it was a pretty clean game on defense. I mean, they booted the ball early. We didn't capitalize on it. And then Ty the only other mistake of the game was a range ball that the first baseman that Ty went a long ways for, made a really nice play. And then he kind of rushed the throw. Landon's very athletic. He gets over to first fast. So there was time there to maybe set your feet. And then, but he's made that play a million times on the run, throwing off balance. So, but other than that, the game was pretty clean defensively.
I guess just what can you say about how proud you are of the players? We talked in the fall. You talked this is going to be a new team. You're obviously playing your best brand of baseball right now. I mean, just what do you tell your team, especially getting one win under your belt, more work to do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm letting them play right now. You know, we've pressured them enough, and we've in the middle of the season, you know, once the initial excitement wears off from the first few weekends, then you're into the, you know, the real grind of the season. And we were, for the most part, coming up short on weekends. Like, it would be 1-1, and then we have a chance to win a series, and we were unable to do it with a lot of different reasons. A lot of them were not getting hits with runners in scoring position, and then just giving up free passes on the mound, or just a lot of different things. And so we went a stretch where that was happening. You know, we won a series at home against Washington. It was a very good club. And then, you know, it was some 1-2s and 1-2s and 1-2s. The one thing that I'm really proud about from our team this year is from the beginning of the season, from February 17th till now, we've never left a weekend without beating somebody. So we've beaten every single Big Ten team that we played this year, including Indiana today. You know, we might have only won one on a couple weekends, but nobody has beat us 3 times. And I think that shows a lot of resiliency for a young club. You know, getting a win at Oregon and having a chance to win really 2 other games there on the road. We had a 4-3 game and a 3-2 game, so we had some close ones. Iowa whacked us really, you know, we beat them Friday, and they whacked us twice on the weekend to start the Big Ten. They had a great weekend. But all the other weekends were really close and competitive. And so we've been able to creep on the other side of that a little bit, and a lot of it is the maturity of young players. A lot of it is coaching. A lot of it is guys playing more relaxed and just letting the game, you know, happen instead of pressing. So I see that happening with my eyes. I see them enjoying each other and playing loose and relaxed and just executing better.
Looking ahead to Iowa, you played them to open Big Ten play. How much do you take from that series versus you guys are playing much better now than you were then?
I mean, we just got done studying like for a day and a half to play this game, and now we're gonna go do that again, you know, for a new team. Thank God we get to play at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, so that we have a little bit more time to look at things. But Iowa is a very well coached team. They're disciplined. They have good hitting approaches. They don't chase. They play good defense, and they have 3 elite starting pitchers and some big dudes coming out of the bullpen with some filthy stuff. So they're good. You don't stay in front of this conference from the beginning of the season until the last day of the year without being very, very good. So I have a lot of respect for them and Rick. They're very good. We're different than we were at the first weekend. We're better. So, you know, if we play well, we'll have a chance to compete.
Steve, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Just make sure to lean into the mic.
Awesome. Thank you.
You want to make an opening statement?
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll go ahead and open it up for the players then.
Brian, looks like the breaking ball was working for you again today. So how have you got the progression of the game go with your pitch mix?
Honestly, getting ahead in the strike zone with it. I feel like early on we were able to get them kind of towards the back half of their at bats, and then later on in the game, able to kind of flip them in their first pitch strikes and kind of throw them off a little bit.
Jake, at the plate, you were called on to do a lot of different things to try to keep things moving. You just kind of talked about your role today.
Yeah, I'm normally not much of a power guy, and hitting in that 9 spot, just being able to bunt and kind of take a hit by pitch and just do whatever it takes for me to get on base. is kind of, we preach that a lot. And so knowing my role and what I'm supposed to do in the lineup, just turn the lineup over. I take pride in that, whether that's a walk, a hit by pitch, or maybe even just a sacrifice bunt. I take a lot of pride in that, and we do as a team. And so knowing my role and just being able to do that for the rest of the guys is really important.
Can you talk about having caught Ryan for 2 years now and the progression he's had in that time?
Yeah, I think it all just goes back to his confidence. Just seeing the transition from last year to this year and the ability to land multiple pitches for a strike at any point in the at-bat is really important and really good for him. And seeing that like transition with him, being able to work with him. We spent a lot of time in the off season. I pretty much caught every bullpen that he threw. We would catch in the morning right before class, and I would catch his bullpen, and just being able to work with him one-on-one with Coach Glant and Coach Mercer in there is really important. Just being able to land multiple pitches for a strike to either side of the zone is really important.
With new tournament format, you guys only have 1 game left to improve your RPI. So what are your thoughts on this new format, and do you maybe think that this one's better, or would you rather go back to last year's?
I'll take that one. Anytime there's change, there's always going to be debate over if it's better or worse. You know, to get 12 teams in when you go to a 17-team league, the coaches' room had a lot of discussion and dissertation about what was the best way to go about doing it. You know, I don't know. There's coaches in the room that our elder statesmen have done this for a long time, a lot longer than me, and they felt like this was the best way to be able to get more teams in, protect your higher seeds, also give your lower seeds a path through too. Where if you win 2 games, all of a sudden you're into that single elimination component. So there's good and bad. You know, I think we'll sit back, you know, after the end of the year and be able to discuss, you know, what we want to do, if we liked it, if we didn't like it, but. There's so much transformational change. I know that's like the cliche term, but there's just so much change right now in college sports and college baseball in our conference. You're doing the best that you can to make the best decision, you know, for the league, for the teams, for the players, and some of those things you just don't know until you get through it a little bit. Take the temperature, you evaluate, you kind of do like a postmortem, and do you like it or not, and then you can make a change if you want to. But it is what we have right now, so we have to go play on Friday against Iowa, and that's all that matters. So, you know, we talked about it when we played Iowa a couple weeks ago, and our goal being is they were better than us at that point. So the only thing that we can control is to get good enough to be able to go and beat them in the tournament. And we talked about that. We talked about it multiple times. So just get better every day and get yourself prepared to be able to beat them in the tournament. And you know, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater today where we didn't play very well. Obviously, we pitched really well. I want to say the position group, we didn't hit very well. But we've gotten a lot better over the last month, you know, from a position where we got our butt kicked to go 8-2 in the last 10 games leading into the tournament. We've pitched it really well, done a good job. And so now we need to go out and prepare ourselves the next 2 days to go beat Iowa on Friday. And that's all we can control, and that's all that matters. And the rest of it's in everybody else's hands. The one thing I know that we can do is prepare ourselves the next 2 days to play Iowa.
Anything else for the players before we let them go? Okay, you guys are all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. I didn't mean to hijack that from them, but it's tough for them. They don't, you know, they don't know as much.
Coach, your team actually out-hit Rutgers today.
Yes.
Hits, obviously
Yep.
didn't get hits with runners on.
Yep.
Is just what's your reflection on why you couldn't quite break through?
Yeah, just frustrating as hell. And our starter was good, and that's a tough matchup for us. The power, that kind of the power 2-seam change-up cutter is kind of gives us trouble sometimes. That's not, if you watch the video, that's not shocking. It's kind of the way that we train. You can kind of either cover the 4-seam and that more of that dead zone fastball, or you can cover more of a arm side run sinker. And there's a lot fewer sinkers and arm side run pitches in college baseball now than there were 10, 15 years ago. So you kind of cover one or the other. And so for us to be able to have success against those guys, you're forced to have great approaches and have great at bats. And kudos to their second baseman. He probably took 2 or 3 runs off the board by himself. He did a great job defending it. And we had opportunities, guys in scoring position multiple times, and we just weren't able to be more in the middle of the field in the air. And it's something that we're typically good at. And we were not. We watched the Maryland game when he threw against Maryland last week, and similar. They were a little bit more pulse on the ground dominant than we were today, but it's similar as to what we did today. They were on the ground a ton by just pulling off contact point like we did today. And then we watched Penn State, and they were more in the air, the middle of the field, the other way, and talking about how you're going to have to be able to do that. And every time he needed to make a pitch, he was able to lean on the cutter and be able to get contact on the ground, and they made the plays. And so, yeah, it's frustrating to hold them to 5 runs with the wind blowing out 30 miles an hour. And 4 of their 5 runs were on home runs. And so that's what you tell them. We didn't walk anybody. We didn't hit anybody. We had no free bases and 9 hits. And you tell them, you're going to be in the zone. We got to fill it up. We got to attack. And we got to play defense. And outside of the one area where Cooper drops the ball, we did. We played defense, took care of the ball. And they're going to hit a couple homers. And we should hit a couple homers. It should have been a back-and-forth battle in those situations, and we didn't do it. We got to good leverage counts with guys in scoring position. We swung through fastballs. We got to early in the count. We got early cutters and pulled off and rolled over. And about as direct as honest as I can be. It just wasn't a good enough performance. And even though it wasn't a good performance and we weren't able to execute kind of the plan that we had put forth, we still put ourselves in the position there in the 8th to have the bases loaded and 1 out. And you push a couple across there, and then Devin's homer ties it up, and it's a different game. So you're looking at it from there's a structural standpoint, and then there's an approach standpoint, and you kind of pick your poison on what you want to develop from a swing standpoint, and then you're going to have to use your aptitude, intelligence, and application to be able to handle days like today, and we just didn't do it, which is frustrating. With as offensive as the conditions were, typically that's a really good day for us.
Coach mentioned controlling the controllables as far as your resume goes. If the committee's listening right now and they're considering your bubble team, obviously 1 game to go.
Yeah.
What's your kind of sales pitch to them as far as where you get a stand? And with that, when you were discussing this new Big Ten tournament format with coaches in the preseason, did you think that maybe the Big Ten will be looking at more bids than it appears that they might be?
Yeah.
When it comes to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, and there's a lot of moving pieces that go into that. The Big Ten's the fourth best RPI in the country, and we finished 6th in the league. When you added the West Coast teams into the league, what's happened is that the top of the league has distanced themselves so much from the middle of the pack. So you have this wide chasm in between that. If you look at the conventional Big Ten teams, we finished 2nd of the conventional Big Ten teams. And so if you in any other year, Iowa in the conventional Big Ten, Iowa wins it and we're 2nd, and I'd say we're probably safely in the NCAA tournament. So you're looking at, in many ways, as the West Coast schools separated themselves from the conventional Big Ten teams, you have a suppressed. We cannibalized our own wins as we went to 30 games. And then the West Coast teams ran away from the middle of the pack. We cannibalized those wins, and so it suppressed the wins and suppressed the RPI. I don't know that the Big Ten in years past would be a 0 to 1 bid league. I think it's typically been a 2 to 3, at least a 3 bid league. And so if you're going to add those West Coast schools in, you're looking at 3 bids there. Then the conventional teams you would look at and say there's 2 to 3. Conventional Big Ten teams that are good enough to be an NCAA team. We're good enough to be an NCAA team. If you look at the talent that we have, the ability that we have, we lost some games we probably shouldn't have. We also play, I think, 6 doubleheaders. So you're trying to cover 3 games in 24 hours. You played 5 Friday doubleheaders and 1 Monday doubleheader. That matters. When you're lined up and you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as a regional would be, we are certainly capable of playing in that postseason tournament and having success. So I would say those are probably the main points. I realize that the league right now has an RPI problem. I would say that's as much to do with how the top of the league distance themselves from the middle of the league, and then you have a 30-game schedule, and so you only in those extra 6 games you all go 500, and so that's why you're seeing a ton of everybody is at that 31, 32 or below win mark. And then you've got a couple teams that are into the upper 30s to low 40s in that range, just a wide chasm. And so I think metrically, that's a decision that you have to be able to figure out is how do you manage again, we talk about moving pieces. How do you manage all of those moving pieces? I would say the Big Ten now, with the addition of probably national seed host and a second host site, I would say that the Big Ten is a 5 to 6 bid league, not a 3 to 4 bid league. We didn't just get worse, right? You added a couple tremendous teams, and that's why your numbers are suppressed. And I don't think it should be punished. I think there's probably other metrics that would probably bear that out as well. I don't know if that's what you were looking for, but that's what goes into my mind as I look at it. Awesome.
7 of your 10 hits today came from freshmen. You obviously have the
Yeah.
10th freshman of the year.
Yes.
Jake Hanley, who's doing 2 hits. Can you just talk about what your freshman hitters
Yeah.
accomplished today?
They did a great job. We've been gone for some time traveling. And then we went to Michigan and then came straight here because we were already, a third of the way through that travel. And so the last 2 days, we were able to spend a couple of days, one day at Iowa, which I really appreciate Rick letting us do that, and then one day at Iowa Western here. Just going back through our drill work, and that's a really big deal for those young guys. Those young guys had struggled a little bit. It's a really big deal for them to be able to get back into their drill work and how we teach the swing. And they did a great job, applying that directly back into the game. Cooper struggled last weekend, had a couple hits today. Hogan obviously was the Big Ten freshman of the week last week, but he came out today and swung it well. And then Jake had a couple of hits too. And so yeah, we've played 4 or 5 freshmen almost the whole year. And I think Will had 2 hits. So I'm super proud of those guys, what they did this season, but also again the application, the adjustments that they've made the last couple of days, and then the application and taking it into the game against one of the better arms in the league. And I'm very, very proud of them for that. And then a true kudos and congratulations to Jake Hanley on his Big Ten Freshman of the Year. We've had 2 of the last 3 Big Ten Freshmen of the Year, both from Cincinnati. So they're right there in that same area. But you look at Jake's transformation, as there was a lot of guys out of high school thought he would be more of an arm than a hitter, and pitched a bunch for us this fall. He was able to make a ton of adjustments, and he's played every game the whole season. Has played a tremendous first base. I'm not sure he has an error on the whole season. And so to go airless at first base as a freshman, and then to hit 330 or 340, and do that for immediacy is an incredible achievement, especially being such a true dual guy and spending so much of your young life on the mound, and then to learn that position so quickly is incredible. So yeah, all those guys were tremendous, and I'm really proud of them.
Is there a chance we'll see him on the mound next year?
It's a great question. That's a great question. He and I have talked about it a little bit. A lot of it will depend on his desire to do that or to not do that. Anytime that you have a two-way guy like that, the fear is always just injury. But he's 92, 96 with a big-time sinker, big-time arm side run guy. So he is a dominant force on the mound as well. But it would be a question that we'll have to kind of internally debate, and then with him and his family and kind of what we all put together. But I would say something that we've briefly discussed. It'll be a discussion into the summer and into the fall for him.
How important are your veterans in kind of mentoring the young guys and like keeping the train on the tracks for that 8-2?
Yeah.
finish to the season?
Yeah. Yeah, you look at several of those guys. Ryan Kraft is just what a veteran, what a professional. Holderfield and Grable and Burr and Gilly. We've got a really veteran pitching staff. Those guys are awesome. Jake Stadler in that position player room is a huge benefit. Having him as a veteran presence. I think T.J. Schuyler has a lot of, and he's only a sophomore, but has a lot of aptitude for leadership and communication. And then Devin's been communicative the last couple of weeks and has played really well. And usually Devin lets his play do his talking. But yeah, I am. You get your butt kicked at Iowa, and sometimes it's just your weekend, and sometimes it's just not. It's just the way that it goes. You play this game long enough, you coach it long enough. Sometimes you just have a bad weekend. But to pick back up and to go compete and to play really well, we go sweep Abilene Christian on the road, and they won at least a share of the WAC title, and then you beat Purdue, and then you go on the road and beat Michigan at their place, and all the credit in the world to Michigan. So to be able to respond from that takes some thick skin, right? Because everybody wants to everybody wants to have an opinion and all those things, and you just can't worry about it. We have a good team. We're a talented team. We played poorly, but to go back after that and make your run and playing your best baseball at the end of the season. And I know we didn't do it today, but to play your best baseball at the end of the season after that is really, really hard to do. And so those older guys had a lot to do with it. And you just keep coaching. You just keep pushing and keep coaching. You don't give up. You don't quit. You don't make excuses. You make adjustments, and you live and learn and get better. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.